2020, a year where we were all hit with an unexpected virus and forced to be indoors for months, was also a time when gaming became popular, especially online gaming. Roblox was also hit with peak popularity, and this gave birth to a new game. And this game created a lovely community. This game is called Islands. Back in 2020, the game was first called Skyblock, taking inspiration from a game mode on a very popular Minecraft server, Hypixel. Skyblock was generally a fun, simple game where you could build, mine, and fight slimes and rock monsters for loot and rare items. The game was just awesome. After it got to peak popularity in Roblox, the game got into minor issues with the developers of this server Hypixel. But all they needed to do was just change the name from Skyblock to what's known today, Islands. What made Islands quite special was the farming. YouTube videos were about designing of auto farms, and this was the in thing in Islands community. With all my skills from Minecraft and all my creativity, I created somewhat of a sufficient farm, which is okay for me as long as I'm making my money in Islands. I didn't really care about the design at all. A few amazing updates rolled in until one particular update arrived, which hindered most farmers. The fishing update added sprinklers, water catchers, fertilizers, and a new industrial machine which would save us farmers cash flow: the industrial washing machine. The fish update added a feature whereby if an onion or any type of food spawned directly from a totem onto the conveyor belt, it would become oily. And selling oily foods cut your revenue by plus minus 50%, and this made us farmers cry while deconstructing our wonderfully made farms. The thing about the nerfing of farming was that we needed the industrial washing machine. And to get the washing machine, we needed a propeller, which we get from fishing, and a propeller is already a rare drop. Overall, wasn't much of a hassle to get the propeller, and farmers managed to repair the money-making machines. As time went by, the game received more and more updates like a normal game would: new features, animals, revamps, foods and fruits, which is personally my favorite, and NPCs. Islands even hosted a King Kong vs Godzilla event in 2021, which was actually awesome. The game was just great until its time was due. In general, games experience something that I would like to describe as a canon event, where if it rises in popularity, it also has to experience its fall. The game started to change after more and more rare items were introduced to the game. It's like a building game has all of a sudden converted into an economic game. Islands introduced vending machines during its early days, which was a feature meant for easy purchases of items rather than turning all your money into 10k bags and dropping all of them to get an item, because you ran a risk of accidentally dropping them into the void. You might be asking, what has changed about the game? Well, the game is just about marketing and selling. It's actually a good thing because it's just like in real life. You need money to make money to give money. Islands teaches that you need the item to get more items to give even more items. Lovely principle if you had to ask me, but that's something few players don't want. The fun, interactive community that used to thrive during April 2020 converted into a stock marketing society. Building has now focused on designing new malls and shops to attract possible customers. But this isn't the reason why people left, because the community and players were still thriving after the game converted into an economy game. Players just got bored of the game. Some are still very loyal to the game, which I respect, but even my friends, which I met through Islands, just totally abandoned the game. Islands looks and feels better than before, especially farming for me, because of the really great updates the developers has been pumping out. But all things have to come to an end eventually.
So if you haven't heard the news by now, yep, the Easy Games team have announced the end of updates for Islands, and I wanted to share some thoughts on this. A lot of people are asking me, DV, what do you think about this? And I gotta say, it wasn't really a surprise to me. You can see the kind of natural progression of Islands as it was, kind of dying. Like, player counts were getting lower and lower, and at some point, this was gonna happen. Like, if you didn't know, it was probably because you don't understand the life cycle of games on Roblox, but
I didn't even know how to take it, but with all the evidence and all the screenshots, I just had to accept it. I totally respect the decisions of the developers, because being a developer is basically like being a father to a baby you created, but you passionately feed it and make sure it is well, despite it being a hard job and a headache. Personally, do I think that this is the best decision? Well, no. I always wanted to see how Islands could recover from hitting rock bottom. But even though I never got to see it rise for the second time, at least I was present during its first time when it rose. Thank you, Islands, for making my time during isolation in 2020 a great experience.